Hey there, folks. What's going on? It's Codiak and Livid here, coming back at you in stereo. And today we are checking out another character in Amazon Game Studios' upcoming title, Crucible. This is Shakirri. Livid, what is going on, man?
How's it going, man? I'm really excited to check out this character. This is seems like we're getting to a little bit of a duelist today. So
Yeah, I mean, they have so many cool characters in this game, and this one is one I've been looking forward to talking about.
yeah, he's pretty nifty. Let's just jump into it.
Let's do it.
Watch and learn.
Sassy.
This one is apparently some big shot back on her homeworld.
So we got the sword,
I mean, just look at that uniform, right? It takes a lot of stupidity
we got the
or an
pistol.
awful lot of moxie to give your opponents pointers on tactics and strategy in a firefight.
A lot of pressure.
Whichever
Pistol
one it
does a
is,
lot of
Shakirri
damage.
has got it in spades.
You've been practicing.
She's a tactical mastermind, swaps
Yeah, she's
between her
fluidly
pistol and
switching
energy sword
between
depending on the
each
fight.
weapons, too.
And she's got a reflecting hollow shield to get her through
Okay.
some sticky
Oh, now that's cool.
situations.
Because why not?
Plus a force dome that her enemies can't pass through.
Okay.
Crap. That's
Trust me, you
You're
do
trying to
not
force
want to
the
get
fighter.
caught on the wrong side of that.
It's good to be the best.
All right. Really, really interesting character. I mean, Livid, initial thoughts.
if you don't yell "Welcome to the Thunderdome" when you put down the shield, you're playing the character wrong. I'm just gonna say that.
So true, so true. I mean, yeah, that's one of the most interesting abilities in her toolkit.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's a short cooldown either. It's got to be a long cooldown. That seems like griefable on instances.
I mean, being able to, keep people outside of the shield and then keep the enemies trapped inside. So, damage coming in doesn't really affect you. And then you're locked in the Thunderdome, as you say, with, one or multiple people. That's a crazy ability.
Yeah, and you split enemy team focus that way. Like you can if you hard cut off teams getting to each other.
Oh my God. Yeah. And that's such an important part of being a frontline player, right?
Or like even if you're in a canyon too. Like say you're in a canyon, you have two players on one side, two players on another, and they're trying to get to you. You plop in the middle, you separate both of them.
Yeah, I mean, just to be able to do that, to isolate teams multiple different ways. You can trap them inside, you can isolate them, like you said, divide them. I mean, that is a truly incredible ability that this character is baked around that one ability.
Yeah, like it's more than just the typical you put a dome up and it absorbs damage and that's it. Like it's got a pretty unique take on the dome style ability that we see in games like like Overwatch where Winston's got the dome. All it is a little shield that breaks instantly. This seems like a lot more utility can get placed with this.
Right. And that's gonna need a lot of tuning to be, accurate and not cause the community to go absolutely bananas over that one move.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's take a quick look at Shakiri's stats here. Just to remind everybody, top one there is health. Next one down is defense. The next one there is mobility. After that is control. Below that is damage. And then finally, range. So what's your takeaway looking at this chart here?
Well, being a duelist, right? She kind of wants people to focus on her, and it looks like with the ability, with her shield ability, like her handheld one, she reflects those shots. So she kind of wants to be the center of attention for people, and she doesn't really. She kind of wants to get those one-on-ones, one-on-twos. She doesn't want to deal with any more than that, really. You
Right.
know.
Right.
So and being that her health pool also looks pretty low by that regard, she's definitely got to capitalize on really isolating that one person. So you get the dome to be able to do that. You get the shield to be able to reflect at teammates to kind of draw aggro away from you in a sense. Like they're shooting at you, they don't want to get hurt, so they stop shooting at you, and it gives you kind of a momentary relief to like either slip away or pop your shield and isolate one of the dudes. So
I mean,
she's
and that's the reason why we're not calling her a tank because of that health there. I mean, that is one of the lowest health pools based on this chart that we've seen. I mean, astronomically high defense, but comparatively, that health is really low, which means this is a high skill cap player. You can't just bumble into any fight, pop a shield down, and expect to live through it.
yeah. You're it's positioning again. I mean, this game is, I'm quickly seeing that with every character is that your positioning is going to be absolute key. And
Right.
it seems like it's starting to take a little bit of those notions from like almost like MOBAs, like where your positioning matters.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Amazon Game Studios has had decades probably at this point to look at popular games, look at what works, what doesn't work, what genres of games people are interested in, and they're making really interesting characters like Shakirri that can do a little bit of everything, but they do have their weak points. And we can see that here with the mobility and the health, not her strong suit. We saw her jump in using some sort of like flip engage ability, but it was nothing crazy. So she's in the fights. And if you don't know how to handle yourself in the fights, you're just going to be dead weight.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment on that one.
I mean, yeah, interesting character, but again, I gotta ask, where does she fit into a team? Because this is an interesting character.
Yeah, I mean, she's not really gonna fit into a team that's all about that really hyper aggression. Like using like a Tosca or a Drakal. Like those guys are all about like getting in there and like dealing with multiple enemies in a sense. They kind of isolate things, like they spread people apart, stuff like that. She might work if she can catch up to them, but she doesn't seem very mobile. In the sense like she doesn't look like she has any abilities that really can close the gap aside from like her slash when she jumps. But that seems kind of limited. Like you have to kind of attack in order to do that. You kind of waste that charge.
Right.
So she doesn't seem very mobile. So any person that can really kite her, I think it's gonna be really, really kind of strong against her in a sense.
Right. But let's remember that there are PvE type environments and events in each of these three different game modes. And when you think about it from that perspective, Shakirri um, steps it up a notch, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean she can use that dome probably to protect points while you're capturing them, right?
I mean, using the dome to protect those things, you can really keep enemies away by popping up her personal shield. You can delay firefights, especially if you're doing the harvester one, which is all about almost like a domination type map where you have to stay on the point for a while. She's going to be really good at staying on points and not getting pushed off them.
I didn't even look at it that way, but that's definitely a point that definitely bumps her up then.
Yeah, I mean, not a true tank by any sense, but
No, but like, when you're the harvesters where you have to actually sit stationary to capture them and stuff like that, being able to either place the dome on top of you guys so nothing comes in, nothing goes out, you have that whole free time to capture if you really want to blow that charge on that. Or, even just positioning yourself with your deployable shield like in your hand, in the direction that fire might be coming at you. And you still provide, cover to your teammate who's capturing that.
right.
So like she's got good utility, really good utility, but awful mobility.
Yeah, with all shield abilities too, it really does come down to the execution of the shield system in the game. Looking to something like a Reinhardt shield where you can just, pop it out at any time, pop it off, pop it on. Is that how her shield is going to work? Or is it going to be a one and done? You have to fire it and then it lasts for 10 seconds. It really all depends on the shield mechanics themselves, how effective she's going to be in each situation.
Exactly. Yeah, if it's like a breakable shield and then it extends the cooldown, maybe that those can be big effects that we don't see here. Like we mentioned, I think some hard counters to her is going to be anyone that really can jump around her. I think Tosca is going to be like her worst enemy. Because while you might be able to like trap him in the bubble, if he's still got two blink charges, if you get close to him, he just blinks the other side, or she blinks the other side, and then you get close to her again, and she blinks away again, and the dome's probably out by that point.
Right. And I mean, Shakiri does have that pistol, which does kind of help you with that mid range. Say you do have a Tosca or something that can dash away or blink away. She does have the pistol, but that is a skill shot weapon. It's not a, shoot it and hit everything in front of you. It's just like a McCree or like any other, pistol character that you've played in other games where you're really going to have to be accurate with it to do any sort of damage. If you're missing with your pistol, nothing happens. And then again, you're just dead weight on the field.
Yeah, because you have limited ammo in each magazine. Basically, I think you only have 6 shots to start with.
Right, so you're activating it, you're using it, and if you're not good with it, I mean, what's the point? Alright, so let's take a peek at the essence upgrades here. Let's go through, tier 1.
All right, so with tier one, we get extended lunge, which increases your sword attack range by 25%. So, in my opinion, that just adds a little more cleave, I guess, to that. It's kind of like that kind of addition, right?
Right.
Just gives her more viability with the sword. I think it's going to be a central pickup for anybody because you need that more damage when you need to be able to extend your range because if you're not using your pistol, your sword's really all you got.
Right.
If we get into the second possible upgrade, we got Starlock Capacitor. It increases the maximum pistol energy from 6 to 8 shots. So, you know, an extra 2 shots that can be the difference between killing an enemy or not killing an enemy. Or tagging somebody if there's some effects that go along with that later on. You know, and then the last kind of possible upgrade is a Noble Shield, and it makes the Halo Shield's width increased. So gives you a larger area to cover. More teammates could possibly fit behind it. Easier to cover points that you're capturing or blocking multiple shots from different directions. If it really gives it more of an arc, a lot of possibility with that. I think that's going to be a very essential upgrade for any team play based Shakiri.
Right. We can already see three very clearly defined paths. We've got the sword path, we've got the pistol path, and then we've got the survivability path. So, again, guys, for anybody who doesn't know, you do have to pick these essence upgrades before you get into a match. So, before you go into one of the three different game modes, you need to know, okay, I'm building sword build, and I'm going to go with extended lunge. I'm going to go with all of the essence upgrades that work that way. You don't get to make that choice on the fly. So you really do need to know your team. You need to know your character, how you play with Shakirri before you even get into a match.
Yeah, that's huge. And then we see that if we get to level 2, she has empowered deflect, and this one seems really cool. Deflected shots will inflict 50% more damage. So you're really playing off the shield. If you're going for that shield build with increased width, then you're also amplifying damage even more that's going out. So like this, I think would be a way to deal with a Tosca. Because if she's getting close to you and she's pumping you with that shotgun, and you pop that shield and she's not ready for that, and she doesn't have a blink charge and she's just focused on hitting you, she's gonna kill herself.
Right. Any of those characters with a low health pool, with a good Shakirri that knows how to use her Halo shield, she's going to be able to deflect those shots and potentially kill somebody without ever firing a shot or using her sword.
Yeah, as long as you're precise about when you use it. So,
Right.
people are gonna be watching for you to pop that, and they're gonna know that once that's down, they're gonna go after you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a really cool synergy with Noble Shield, but that tier 2, obviously, that's the only essence upgrade you have, so it just works with her core gameplay. Halo Shield is going to be viable. It's gonna be such an important part of the toolkit no matter what, and that increased 50% damage to the reflected shots, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's huge. Nothing to laugh at.
All right, so take us through level 3 here.
Level 3, we got Synergistic Blade. It increases the sword damage by, I think, 3% for each remaining shot of the pistol's energy. So if you're really capitalizing on using, melee, you're meleeing the whole time, right? And you're up close, if you're not firing those shots, that's what? If you get the pistol upgrade to 8 shots, you get 24% extra damage with your sword. That's nothing to laugh at.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting to see that you could go with extended lunge in tier 1 and then synergistic blade. So you'd think that's the blade build, but actually going Starlock capacitor with synergistic blade may be better because you get that extra 6% because you have the 2 extra shots in your pistol.
And, like, it also kinda makes up for, like, not having extended lunge if you just purely wanted the initial 25%. 24 to 25% is not that much of a difference. So if you're really going for more of, like, the pistol build, but you want a little bit more melee damage mixed in within that, you get an extra you get an extra 24%. That essentially gives you the first 2 traits, or first 2 upgrades,
Right. Yeah,
which is
that's
pretty
that's
cool.
that's a really cool way to break out the character, giving a viable talent that works. So extended lunge and Starlock capacitor both affecting synergistic blade. So that's really cool.
And then so the second option you got is freeze lock pistol. Pistol shots now slow opponents for 10% for 1.5 seconds to a maximum of 30%. So it sounds like, you hit them with 3 shots, you'll get them up to, 30%. Now I wonder, the big thing with that is if you can wait till the very end of that 1.5 seconds and hit them with another shot, if it refreshes that and extends it up to 20.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that that's part of that tier 3 because either, Starlock Capacitor gives you those 8 shots. Now you're really using your ranged ability to control the battlefield outside of your dome shell, right? Outside of that dome
Yeah.
shield, or force dome as it's called, you now have this pistol which you can use to manipulate the team, and that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, it gives her more like support control play style. And it's, 8 shots that can potentially slow enemies at any range that the bullet can hit from. That's that's a pretty good slow for catching people. That would help, Drakal or Tosca or really anybody who really needs to close the gap and get to somebody. That's a lot of time they're slowed for.
Yeah, and for a character that doesn't have a lot of mobility, again, it's a skill shot, so it does require that higher skill threshold. But that could really be the difference between killing somebody and letting them get away.
And then her third option for the upgrades there is Healthy Gambit. Abilities recharge 15% when health is above 70%. So I guess it's, she gets an extra 15% towards her passive recharge rate, I guess.
I would imagine that's faster. It's supposed to be abilities recharge 15% faster. So I mean, it's all about keeping her topped off, right? That's a really good ability. Unlike the ones where it something changes after, like when you're lower than something. This is staying topped off. And if you have either health kits or you have a healer on the field, that's going to be something that, is viable across the board.
Really interesting builds across those three, and they all kind of work with each other. You can really mix and match and still have a really viable character, I think.
Yeah, this is one of the first ones that we've talked about where I feel like the tier 1 and tier 3 essence upgrades really could mix match however you want. There's different builds here, unlike the other ones, which are a little bit more cut and dry.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's move down to level 4 here. Force Dome Overcharge. Force Dome's health and duration increased by 50%. I mean, this is what we were talking about before, the balancing of Force Dome, man. I mean, an extra 50% on the health and duration. That could be huge if not balanced correctly.
Yeah, you will officially be locked in the Thunderdome once you hit level 4.
Right. I mean, talk about a duelist character keeping somebody, trapped in a place they don't want to be trapped in. It's not just for, catching people that are trying to run away. It's for really locking down the battlefield, creating that division between an enemy team, picking off a weaker one, grabbing a Tosca that could jump away. Who knows if she can, blink through the Force Dome? Probably not. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, even think of things like manipulating your environment. Like you have the PvE creatures, right? Say there's like some sort of enemies in there we don't really know yet, but there could be some ones that are just really strong compared to others that you really need to be coordinated to fight, right? Say in a situation like that, you kind of bait something like that over, and then you just dome an entire team and you walk away.
Yeah. I mean,
That thing's now aggroed right there on them, and the dome pops, and now they have to deal with it, allowing a situation for you to capitalize on.
so many different ways to use that shield. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I think those are gonna be some of the Twitch highlights you see, YouTube
100%.
highlights.
All right, get us through this last tier here, level 5.
Level 5, we got a Strike to the Heart, which is a disruptive strike that inflicts 1,500 damage over 3 minutes.
Weird ability.
1,500 I don't know how much that is in terms of a health pool. So,
I mean, you're playing the long game here, though.
yeah.
3 minutes? What? I mean, I don't even know how to make it that one because 3 minutes in a competitive game like this is a lifetime
Yeah.
or multiple lifetimes.
It's just like an insanely long dot damage.
It's a really interesting ability. I think we're both a little flabbergasted by it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, 3 minutes, you can have your entire team wiped in that time. Like,
Right. Crazy. And who knows if it does it persist through death? Because that would be crazy, right? If you die on the battlefield and you come back and you still have that dot on you, oh my God, that would
that would
be
be
the biggest pain.
yeah, it'd be annoying. It'd be the most annoying thing to deal with. And then we got our last possible upgrade here, Restorative Dome. Force Dome now heals you and allies within it.
I mean, what? Come on. Come on,
Talk
Force
about
Dome.
this dome is I think this dome is gonna go through balance changes. I haven't even played the character, but just it seems ridiculous.
I mean, I don't know what kind of alpha beta testing they've been doing, but I hope people are testing this dome out because honestly, if I drop this thing, I'm healing inside of it. I'm keeping enemies locked in here. I mean, it just sounds overpowered.
You control points, you can cut off canyons, you can manipulate the environment with it. Like
Yeah. I mean, again, this is a really interesting character. She mixes a lot of different elements together. A duelist type character with very high survivability and sustainability on a battlefield, the ability to control her enemies, where things are positioned, but low health pool. So it's a really interesting character. I don't know, Livid, what's your final thoughts on this thing?
I wasn't sold on this character initially going into this, but by the end of this discussion, I think I've completely changed my tune on it. I think she's gonna be probably one of the most picked characters.
I would 100% agree, and I agree with the Force Dome. Those are going to be the Twitch clips where people are locking other people out, doing ridiculous things with this character. And the good ones are going to ascend. This is how it always goes with these sort of competitive games. The good players that know the intricacies of these character builds are going to rise to the top, and she has the potential to be absolutely destructive on the battlefield.
Destructive, disruptive, everything.
All right, guys. Well, Shakirri is coming out on May 20th when Crucible releases. If you want more video content in your feed for Crucible and other great games, join Legion Gaming, like, subscribe to the channel. Of course, join us on Discord. My name is Kodiak. That's been Livid. Thanks for watching, and play on.
See you later, guys.